Hello, everyone. I'm ready to get started. If you can hear me and see my screen, give me a quick shout out to let me know you can hear, and I'll be glad to get started right away. Either in the question pane or in the chat box, anywhere would be fine. Thank you very much. Thanks, James. All right, my name is Randy Lindsay. I'm with MT4 Professional Resilient Traders. I'm here to present to you trading strategies using the MT4 Professional platform. The MT4 Professional platform is a real-time market scanner and tool that allows you to get the most out of your MT4 platform. Before we get going, I want to make sure you understand and know that Resilient Traders, MT4 Professional, is not registered trading advisors. We are not a registered investment brokers or advisory service, so we cannot give you specific trade advice. So what we do is we can educate and train you on how to use our platform to establish your criteria and set trades on the live edge of the market. Trading with futures, stocks, Forex, futures, cryptocurrencies has a large potential for reward, but it also carries a large potential for risk. And you need to know and be willing to accept the risks involved if you're going to trade in any of these markets. So please don't trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure that you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. Only risk capital should be used. You should never use bread and butter money, and never ever trade in a live account until you have first proven you can consistently and profitably trade in a simulated account. So to let you know who we are, my name is Randy Lindsay. I am your trade coach. I'm the operations director here at MT4 Professional. Claudio Cardinale is our product development director and technology guru. He's the brains behind the MT4 platform. Together, we make resilient traders. In today's agenda, we're going to be going over trading strategies that are most commonly used with the MT4 Professional platform, although many others are used. We'll go over exactly what a market scanner is, what MT4 Professional is. I'll give you a live demonstration, of course, and make you a very special offer at the end of the presentation to make sure you can get your own copy of MT4 Professional. And of course, throughout today's presentation, there will be full questions and answers provided. So please don't be shy or hesitant. If you have a question, please ask. There's no question or anything that's too broad that we can't get answered, and if I don't know the answer, I'll let you know. So let's get straight into some of the strategies. Some of the more popular trading strategies that are available today are the EMA and price, MACD and signal, moving average crossover, a combination of any of the above, throwing in relative strength or momentum, on balance volume. You know, there's a ton of illustrations and examples out there. But we're going to go over a few of these that we can go over today, just to show you how easy it is to look at technical analysis from a scanning perspective. And then I'll be going over the MT4 Professional Scanner, of course, and showing you how the scanner can trade. But first of all, let's find out what is a scanner in essence. So what is a market scanner and how can MT4 Professional help you? So if you really think about all of the symbols and timeframes that you have at your disposal, 50 Forex pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 different timeframes, that's more than 630 combinations to look for good trade setups. So do you really think that you're able to do this manually? Can you just scroll through all of those symbols and timeframes to see if there's a perfect trade setup? Chances are really good that you're missing a lot of trades, missing a lot of opportunities. You know, and today, if you're trading on different instruments, then you're going to be more profitable. You're going to basically be diversified, and you're going to be able to catch moves when other markets are not moving. So that's due to correlation. So if you're trading uncorrelated instruments in a way to, it's a way to remove the uncertainty in the market and to give you a much better trade result. So the perfect solution for finding these and for scanning all of the different pairs that are available is a market scanner. A Forex market scanner, specifically on MT4, allows you to scan the entire market at a glance for any symbol or time frame using your own rules based on your own custom indicators or your own standard ones. So in essence, it's not a signal provider, but it's a tool that allows you to analyze and to use the strategies that you're already used to using, and it does all the hard work for you. So for an example, if we just have a simple cross of a moving average, we want to see if it's bullish or bearish. If a fast moving average crosses over a slow moving average, that's a very common standard scenario. So I want to see if I want to be bullish or bearish in the market. So using a 15-period moving average and a 30-period moving average, then I'll consider a bullish cross green if the 15 moves over the 30. And a bearish cross would be red if the 15 moves under the 30. So if I spread them all out and put all the symbols that I wanted, and if I had it like a spreadsheet where it showed me all of these different crossover results, that would be a pretty useful tool, because I could very quickly glance over and see the Australian US dollar as a bullish, short, and longer term trend. And I can see that the Euro Swiss has a neutral short term, but a bearish long term. There might be a reversal going on here, and so forth. And so I've got a good platform to view many of the symbols that I normally would not be able to have this breadth of exposure to. So we talk about multiple time frames, but you know that if you trade using multiple time frames, you have a higher probability of a profitable trade because you're trading in the direction of the longer term trend. It's due to correlation. You know, it's one of the advantages of using multiple time frames. So looking at the longer term chart over here, you see that the noisier, shorter time frames have a lot of ins and outs and a lot of stops potentially available, while the longer term trend just continues to move on. So if you're trading a shorter time frame and you trade in the direction of this longer term trend, then you're going to have a higher probability of a profitable trade, and you're going to have lower risk because your pullbacks are not going to be as sharp unless the longer term trend is pulling back and correcting. So hold on to your trades if you're trading in the direction. And if you're not trading in the direction of the longer term trend, make sure that you keep your profit targets short. It's all about longer time frames. So if you had a market scanner that not only could trade based upon your own criteria and find the things that you're looking for, but could also do multiple time frame technical analysis, then you've got a real winner right there. So it would be extremely valuable to you. It is to me. So why do we choose MT4 or MT5? There are a lot of other platforms out there that have built-in market scanners, but on MT4 and MT5, there just wasn't a scanner available. There are a lot of brokers available that only work with MT4 and MT5 in the Forex world, and there are a lot of good custom indicators that have already been implemented on these platforms. So using all of the resources that were already there made a lot of sense to build our platform on MT4. The problem was, of course, there weren't any scanners available on MT4 and MT5, and so we looked, we scoured, we found they were either too complex or unstable or just not well integrated or incompatible with a lot of the indicators. So yeah, we decided to make our own. So MT4Professional from Resilient Traders is now the #1 market scanner on MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to scan the whole market for setups that match your rules, your criteria. When you find a setup, it alerts you to the fact that there is a setup that matches your criteria, and it even does multiple time frame analysis all and with a single click. So stay tuned. I'm going to go through a demonstration now to show you how easy it is. I'll do some very quick comparisons between MT4 in general and MT5 MT4Professional. Right now, you're looking at a standard MT4 platform where I'm looking at just 3 different windows. If I were to change my profile, you could see that I have 3 or more different windows. Here I've got 3 windows plus 2 that are all different sizes. These setups in these windows are changeable. And if I wanted to scale them down or up, you can see that every time I rescale, the windows all stay the same. So I lose a lot of real estate and I lose a lot of time because I have to physically go through and resize all of these windows manually if I want to keep the same aspect ratios of all the windows. And if I wanted to really capture my entire screen, look at all the wasted space and the time I have to take to resize all of my windows. It's just not possible in standard MT4. Also, if I need to change a symbol without clicking on this list over here, I have to physically drag and drop the symbol onto each one of these charts in order to see that and in order to change them. All right. So there's a lot of differences that I can do. If I need to look at when a specific event occurred, like when this trend just came in line, well, if I'm looking at this specific point, then I have to look down on the time axis to see exactly the date and time that occurred. And then I have to go over to this chart and do the exact same thing. And then I have to go over to this chart and do the exact same thing. And then that tells me whether the longer term is in line with where I'm currently trading with or not. But it's really difficult to do in standard MT4. So there are a lot of difficulties that you kind of run into along with that. So let's quickly pull up MT4Professional and take a comparison of the two. First thing you come up with is a blank configuration screen that allows you to load up any configuration that you already have configured or set up. Let's pull up, I think I changed it and I never came back to that, but I'll do this. I'll pull this one up. What this is a EMA and price. So what we're looking at is a standard exponential moving average relationship with price. And it looks like there's an ADX thrown in there as well. But the first thing you should notice is that the blue crosshair on all 3 of the charts automatically synchronizes the current time and price on all 3 of my charts: hourly, 30-minute, and 15-minute chart. You can see very quickly the multiple time frame analysis can be done in no time. I can see at the crossover at this point, this becomes a nice bearish move. The crossover at that same point, bearish move. The crossover at that same point, bearish move. So this is a really good place to be looking to go short in this move, because it crossed over and was validated on the longer term, in line with the longer term downtrend and in line with this. So getting a short coming in at this point, okay, gives me the potential for 29, 32, even 35 pip trade on a 15-minute chart. So identifying these types of setups are quick and easy with MT4Professional. Also, notice that when I go into full screen mode, notice all of the gray space that was outside of the windows automatically got resized and filled in. Even though I have different sized windows, all of the space is now available to me. So that's good use of real estate, in my opinion. And if I go back in, it automatically resizes again. And I have full access to everything that I wanted to do with just a single click of a button. Also, notice the symbol that I have displayed on the charts. If I want now to go over to the Euro Yen, I simply click on my symbol list one time, and the Euro Yen is currently displayed on all of my charts. It just doesn't get any simpler than that. Oh, but it does, because in the background, the MT4Professional scanner is scanning all of the symbols that I have loaded on all of the time frames I'm interested in for the criteria I'm looking for. What is this criteria I'm looking for? Well, let's take a look and find out. If I click the edit button on the configuration I loaded, On the right-hand side, you can see how I set up the charts. I have a template I loaded that's called EMA ADX, and I have it loaded on all three of my charts, and I can, of course, change the time frame with the single click. I can add charts, I can resize them all, or I can get rid of it. Doesn't matter. It lets me do whatever I want to do. Over on the left-hand side, you can see a scanner list and a scanner and a symbol list, sorry. I can change them or add to them or only use as many or as few as I want. And I can edit the configurations of my scanner using that button right there. Here is where you set up your real-time notifications. So if you turn this box on, then you will be notified with the MT4 notifications setups and with MT4Professional's web-based notification symbols. You can even set up your mobile phone to be notified with an SMS message, whether you're going to be alerted or not. The criteria that I use is set up right here. We call them color rules because the color rules define, and let me go ahead and get out of this to show you why. The color rules define the color of the scanner cell as we're scanning through it. So if I were to go into this configuration, put it right down here so we can see both, edit that. Then this color rule that we're going to define will define the color of each of those. So if you pull this little menu down, click on the edit icon, then you can see the exact criteria that we use for that. So a bullish condition, here a bullish condition is considered a close of price greater than the 15-period exponential moving average. You see I can pull that down and get access to all of the indicators I have currently loaded on this strategy. And that means it has to be in addition to the ADX indicator plus DI has to be greater than the ADX minus DI. Okay? So your directional index has to be positive. We got to have a positive directional index showing it's in our favor and positive price closing above that. That's a bullish move. Or the bearish move is just the opposite, close less than the exponential moving average and a negative DI greater, less than, well, positive DI less than the negative DI. So positive, negative, positive, negative. That's bearish. If neither of these are true, then the default color would be yellow, showing you that either the close is greater or less than. If this is true, then this might not be true, and so forth. And neither of these events would be true. You have that condition. That usually occurs during congestion. So any of these rules can be taken into account. By clicking the plus sign, you can change or add any indicator, and I'll do that right down here just by clicking plus. I can choose any indicator that's standard on your platform. So any trend indicator or any oscillator and so forth. So any of the tools that you're already used to using, you choose it from that selection there, okay? If, however, you want to use one of your own custom indicators, then click the pick from your computer button. That will take you to a computer, and then you can pull up any of the indicators that are custom, that you've developed yourself, or that you want to use based upon your own tools. And you can use any of those inside the setups here. You can also use constants. See right here, if you have a constant value you wanted to use, like 1, then you can see that 1 now becomes part of your decision tree. And if any of the indicators are greater than 1 or whatever value you choose, then something's going to occur. If you don't want that criteria there, then you can always just remove it. If you've made changes and you decide you don't like it, you can always just click the cancel button and go out of it. So it's very flexible. It's very easy to use and to set up and to configure. Notice that I have this main color rule, which is looking at the ADX and the price interaction with the moving average. It's called main color rule. I can turn it on or off on any of the time frames. And if I wanted to add a different color rule, say I just wanted to see a moving average crossover, well, let's do that real quick. Let's just choose a moving average. In this case, we'll do a, what, 20? It's 20 simple. And we'll use another moving average. In this case, we'll use 100. So we're looking at a 20-100 crossover. So if our 20 is greater than the 100, we want that to be bullish. So let's get us a dark green. And we'll say plus to add one more condition. This would be the bearish condition. So I'll make it, where's the other? No, dark red. There we go. It'd be the same condition, but in this case, I want to see that the 20 is less than the 100. Okay, so that's the bullish. That's only trend. So I'll say I'll be bullish trend, bearish trend. And I'll call this one trend. I'll say, okay. So now you can see that I have both conditions. I have the current color rule, which decides the moving average price and ADX. And I have a secondary rule that looks at the overall trend, which is the cross of a 120 moving average. So I can turn them on or off. So if I'm not interested in the trend on the shorter time frame, but I am interested in the trend on the longer time frame, and I don't really care about the color rule crossover on the longer time frame, then if I'm trading my shorter term strategy in line with my longer term trend, boom, then I'm in. If I want to check it, I can also simply by looking and ticking this on like that. Now I've got both of them on the same cell looking at that. So let's click OK. Let's save that. Let's click the load button to reload that. And see, now you can see I've got two different colors in my 15-minute. I have one color in my 30-minute, and my hourly is still just the way I had it. It's just the regular strategy without the trend. So this one, I've got the strategy and trend only in here. So you can see that this is a shorter term trend. And if I load on the chart here, the moving averages, then we can see the crossover, where it occurred and how it worked. Does anyone have any questions on that? See how simple and easy it was for me to integrate, to come up with the strategy, to look at that. And see, once you come up and configure this, then you can easily go back and back test it to see if that's a strategy that will be consistently profitable for you. And then you just put that into your portfolio. Yeah, Sean, I see you raised your hand. If you put your question in the chat or in the questions box, then be glad to address your question. So let me go back in and reconfigure this. I'll edit that. This longer term hour trend, I'm going to make it the trend. This one, I'm going to do both. This one, I'm only going to be looking at the rule. Every time you save it, reload it to make sure that the changes go taking place. Why is there one moving average per chart? That's the way I loaded it. This right here is the 15 period exponential moving average that I have on my main criteria. So if I look at the indicators list, then you can see the ADX is on the bottom and the moving average 15 period is loaded on the top right here. And if I look at my configuration on the chart setup, see the EMA ADX is the name of the template that I have loaded on all of my charts. See, it's the same exact name. Now, if I wanted to change the name, then I can select any template I've already made. So if you have a different template that has different indicators loaded on it, then all you have to do is just pull it up. Here's one is an EMA with an 8 period and a 21 period cross. Here's one with 3 moving averages. Here's the EMA with the MACD and an RSI. So, you can load any of them that you like. Here, what I'll do, here's a 2050. That's really close to what I was looking for. What I'm going to do is I'll put that one over here on the 30. Yeah, I'll put it on the 30. I will load the EMA 2050 on the 30 here. There. So I'll have that one loaded up with 2 moving averages, while the other ones are going to stay the same. Maybe the longer term one I can load up with a standard. The 2050. All right, make sure you save it. Make sure you load it. And so you notice the 3 moving averages that I loaded came on the longer time frame. The 2 moving averages, the 2050, came in on the second time frame, and the same single with the ADX was on the first time frame. Am I a pattern trader? Yeah, I like to look at patterns. You mean as far as when you're looking at patterns, are you looking at like reversals? Are you looking at visual setups, flag patterns, W's? Yeah, I think visual's better. I mean, if you can take the chart like this one here, it'll look for it, but if you can look for the consolidation ranges and the breaks below the retest and then the continuation, you're looking for base support. Yeah, absolutely. You can see those things forming. Then you have a nice strong base pattern consolidation. This is definitely a bear flag. Price came back up, failed. It's going down. Okay, so you didn't create any new highs. You're definitely going to be going back low again. It breaks down below your support, came right back up to test it, failed again. High, low, lower high, lower low. You expect to see a lower high and so forth. Yeah, if you scrunch it back up, even on longer time frames, you can definitely see head and shoulders. You connect the lines, you look at the break of the neckline, you look for measure the distance to the peak and so forth. So it's all available. It's all there for you. If you have a strategy that looks at those patterns and the breaks, then you can physically put that into your configuration and search for them if you have the indicator that identifies that for sure. So not a problem at all. So the tool is here for you to set up and configure just the way that you like it. Another very popular one is the MACD. Here I've used a MACD and I've thrown several of them together on it. What it is it's a tool that looks at the MACD indicator, which the histogram and the signal line crossover. So when you have the histogram below the signal line, that's considered to be bearish. And the histogram greater than the signal line is considered to be bullish. So when the cross of the histogram above the signal line is considered a buy. If you have a positive RSI, basically a trending greater than 30 oversold condition, you're moving in strength at a crossover point. That gives you a very nice strong buy signal. If you had a scanner that could search for these locations, then boom, that gives you a great place to enter, and you can see the result is rather good. Same with the sell side. You can see that it becomes well overbought. You see the crossover, you see the strength coming out of that position at that point. So this again becomes a really good sell point and a very good result following. So a scanner that identified that and gave you the setup would be a very useful tool. So looking at the configuration that we would use for this, oops, I clicked the wrong button. Click the edit. Then the charts can be set up over here on the right. All you have to do is just set up any template and save it as a template and then load it up onto your chart setup. Your scanner, however, where the meat and potatoes are, I consider a strong signal. That's the name I use for the strategy here. A strong signal is when the MACD, in this case, we're looking at the MACD base indicator, which is your histogram, being less than the MACD signal line. That was your crossover that you want to see a bearish move. In addition to that, I want to see that the close of price is less than the EMA 15. So here we are looking at the price and the 15. So if the price is less than that, I know that I'm in a downtrend. All right, so I have the crossover of the MACD, I have price crossing of the EMA, and I'm looking at the trend of relative strength. Here I want to see that my 14 period RSI, this was 2 bars ago, so I'm looking at historical data greater than RSI of the current bar. So I'm looking at the trend of relative strength going down. So it's losing strength. That's bearish. So crossover, price action, relative strength, it's going down. Or vice versa. I have a bullish cross of my MACD. I have price grading greater than my moving average, and I have relative strength that's rising. That's bullish. That's what I consider buy or sell signals. Of course, we've made place for you to put descriptions and to make this as detailed as you like. You can put and name this anything that you want. If you don't want your box to be just a solid color, then you can put here an indicator that will output the data from the indicator within these. So you can always input that here as well for any number of timeframes that you like. If you make any changes, make sure you hit the save button and then always reload it. And it comes right back in again and gives you the same idea and setups. Right now it says the Euro US dollar has no trade setups across all of my time frames. You're looking at these setups. You can see here that this is a bearish setup. The RSI might or might not be trending, but price is either closing above or below the EMA. So there's no setup here. Looking at the daily, you can see that price right here, that this is bullish. This right here is bullish. This is bearish. And then this is just neutral. Okay. And on the longer time frame, this is bearish. This is bearish. That is bullish. So again, all 3 time frames are not agreeing. But when you do find ones that do agree, then you can see that there's a very good correlation with that. See, on this one, you've got a very strong bullish move on price. But now you're starting to see bearishness in the MACD, and you've got bullishness here on your RSI. So that's why you have a yellow on the first time frame. Second time frame, bullish, bullish, bullish. Third time frame, bullish, bullish, bullish. So it's very easy to see what the scanner already told you is that you're looking for the neutral bull. So you're waiting for this one to come back in line with the trend that you're looking at. And that gives you a really great setup. That's the idea behind it. One thing I didn't show you before on your configurations, once you have a configuration like this that you really like, click the edit button and notice in the bottom right-hand corner is a share icon. This allows you to share this configuration with any other MT4 professional users that you might be knowing, that you might know, or that might be on your own trading team. So if you're working together with someone and you've came up with a really cool strategy, one button allows you to click and share with any of the other users of MT4 Professional so that you're all on the same page at the same time. It's a really neat feature, and it's really nice to do. If there's anyone out there who's already a member of MT4 Professional and you like my MACD strategy setup, then I'll be more than glad to share that with you right now if you just let me know. Asked a question, do I run a hedge fund? No, I do not. I'm sorry. I worked with a hedge fund many years, but I do not run one myself. No. I like what I'm doing right now. Also, if you do have any questions, James, okay, I'll share that with you real quick before we move on. Cool. There you go. This one, I don't know, it looks like there's another James. Let me type the whole email in. There we go. It's the first one. Good thing I didn't check on it. Well, I don't know. 3184. Okay. I'll share it with 3184 then. It didn't look like it's the email that you had used, but I'll go ahead and do that anyway. Okay. And okay, share it with you. All right, you both should have it. When you go into your configuration window right here, select a configuration. I'll start from the beginning. Click the Start Configuration button. Within this window, scroll all the way down. You should see the email I just sent you show up there. Okay, in order to start using it and to create it and make it one of your own up here, then you have to click on the Create Your Custom Configuration button and scroll all the way down to the inbox. Select the one I just sent you and select and click Yes. And that's all you have to do. Then change the name, save it, make it yours, and then you'll be all the way done. Oh, got one more. Sorry about that. Edit. No, I don't see you here. You have to be a current subscriber to MT4 Professional. No, I don't see you here anywhere. So I can't share it with you unless you're already a member of the team. Yeah, you can't really use it if you don't have a platform to use it on. But hey, that's a great lead in, great question, because now all I have to do is go through and make you a very, very special offer. So we normally make all of this available to you, the full featured MT4, MT5 platform. These are values over here on the right-hand side. We give you exclusive access to our Skype community, which is allows you to use and interact with all the other MT4 professional users. We'll give you unlimited storage of the configurations, emails, push notifications in the cloud. We also provide 100 SMS notifications included per month. If you go over 100, which is highly unlikely, then you can purchase another bucket full of them in addition to your subscription. You get over 14 pre-configured presets. These are all the examples I previously had shown you, showing you strategies that we use that other people have put together as well. All of this is usually around about $2,200, $2,300. You're not going to pay that much for the platform. You know, we normally make it available at $194 per month, but you're not going to pay that either. 50% of that will get you at $97 a month. You have 14 days to try it out completely risk-free. At the end of the 14 days, you'll automatically be charged the amount shown on the screen here. And here's the link to get started. Let me copy that and put it in the chat here so you can click on that. It's MT4Professional.com/trial to get started right away. Start your trial, you get 14 days absolutely free. Once you get going on that, then I'll be glad to send you any of my configurations and copy and send them to you through the Traders Network. In addition to the Traders Network, let me put that up here. Yeah, you have full access to our knowledge base. This is where you'll find all the quick start videos, support for MT5, how to migrate from older to newer software, how to install or upgrade your computer, configuration selector, how to go through each of the individual examples we provide for you, scanner rules, how to change colors or set up real-time notifications. All of the users, even how to manage your own members and billing area, are all contained within the knowledge base. The knowledge base is located on the MT4 Professional main website. Just click the sign in button. You'll sign in here to the members area. And then from the members area, just simply click on number 6, visit the Help and Documentation Center. All right, here's the onboarding process. We walk you through each one of these steps and help you to get installed right away. And you'll find the download for the software on all the pages within here. Now, one of the features I didn't show you earlier was the real-time scanner. And now this is the mobile version. So what you see here is my my browser that I have on my mobile device, or it can be anywhere for that matter, your tablet device or whatever. You can take MT4 Professional with you wherever you go, and I'll show you exactly how. So click on the scanner. And notice that the scanner that I have on my computer will come up once I select it. If I have more than one computer, then I can pick which one I'm looking at. Then you can see right here, the scanner that I have set up is automatically displayed here on the chart. So let me move my browser out of the way and pull my chart back up real quick and show you that setup. This is the same scanner that I have running. It's my MACD scanner. And here is my mobile browser, my cell phone, whatever I'm using it on. And notice that it's exactly the same, and it will update in real time, just like this one does. Also notice that we're on the dollar yen. If I were to click on the pound US dollar on my mobile device, then notice that it changed the screen all to the pound dollar, and it gives me a snapshot of that same pound dollar setup. So if I see a setup that looks really good, then I pull it up. Here I am at lunch. I'm not even at my computer. I pull up a screenshot. I see what the conditions are. That looks awesome. It looks like it's going back in. It's topping out. It's not creating a new high. This is going down. This is going down. So I want to sell it. So I get a hold of my broker on my phone. I enter my sell, and it's in. That's beautiful, because I don't want to be tied to my computer. I want to be able to take this with me. I want it to be running for me when I'm not there, and then still be able to access it. So we've set that up as well for you to use. If you take these snapshots or any other snapshot, then you can manage all of them. in the snapshot area. You can tag them, you can order them, you can rank them around, you can even share them with your friends. You can make them public. In this case, this is private, or let me see, there's a public one right here. You can make it a public setup that you can share on all of your social media feeds. And we even provide the link that allows people to come to this page to see only the ones that you allow them to see. So it's all set up and ready to go. All that's within your MT4 professional system. Of course, if you click under the notifications panel, this shows you all of the notifications, including links to the snapshots of the system that you have set up that's giving you the alerts. You can also go under the announcements section to see when we've released new software versions and pushed it out to you. And then you can also go into the settings area where you can go through and modify your own settings. You can go to the documentations page, or you just simply log out. So this is where you manage your subscription. You can cancel your subscription at any time through this setup right there. All right. Awesome. Saul, you said you love the RSI reversals. It's on fire. Awesome. I'm glad to see that you do. Those are great. Just looking for the RSI to become either overbought or oversold gives you the ability to identify these turning points. Stick with it until it becomes overbought, and then get out. So these are great setups. They're great turning points. And they're good. It's not 100% because you can always see there are always areas, but that just shows a short-term weakness. All right, you never got a new signal to go long, so boom, there it is. When it went back down again, then you had another opportunity to take a profit. It never went back up again, so there's yet another potential opportunity to make more on the downside. So it's great. It is a great strategy, and I really like it. I'm glad that you're liking it as well. Again, MT4Professional.com/trial will get you started. 14 days, absolutely free. Then after that, $97 per month. If you click on the link. If you need to contact us for any reason, you can get a hold of us at support@MT4Professional.com. That's the email to get a hold of us. A ticket will be set up, and we guarantee we'll be back to you within 24 hours, or we'll get somebody to contact you and get a hold of you and let you know. So if there are any more questions, I'd love to field them now. Answer any specific questions. If you have a specific strategy, you want to see if I can set it up, or how to manage or handle custom configurations. Our community is growing, and we're getting much larger, and people are finding out the power of MT4 Professional and the ability to scan for these setups. So don't miss out. It's rapidly growing and becoming more and more popular. I think I answered most of the questions. Oh, what's the difference from the My MACD and the original MACD? I think that I added the RSI to it. The original MACD didn't have the RSI. It also did not have the moving average. So if I were to look at just the original MACD, yeah, here it is, MACD and signal. This one looks like it just has the MACD. It does have a momentum indicator loaded in with it, but if you were to look under the configuration, the momentum probably isn't used. Yeah, see, it's just a MACD only. That's the difference. Whereas the My MACD, see that it's the one that included the price action, the MACD signal, and the relative strength direction. Can you use it on a Mac? You can use it on a Mac as long as the Mac is running Windows simulation. So MT4 will run on a Mac in Sim using Parallels or VMware or some other Windows OS Sim. So it really will only work in a Windows operating environment, but it'll work on your Mac with a Windows Sim. You're welcome. There's a little bit of a performance price to pay because anytime you have a simulated environment, it's going to be using system resources, and that can tend to slow things down a little bit. So always want to take that into account. Hey, please send you the MACD. I thought I already did that, but if I didn't, I'll be more than glad to. But do I have MACD loaded? Oops. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button. There we go. My MACD, edit, share. Ah, 3044, I think is what it was, right? I think that's right. All right. You're welcome. On your settings, the screen changed too fast. See which setting. See, would I be able to get that setting, please? What setting can you? Which are the differences in MACDs? The settings for the MACD? Okay, MACD configuration. Well, the timeframes I use on this case are 4-hour, daily, and weekly, but you can have them set up for any time frame that you like. Probably the most popular would be like a 15, 30, and 60. So this is the configurations here. I'm using a standard 12.26.9 on close MACD, and that's the base indicator. Same MACD, but just the signal line in this case. I'll click the plus sign, load, pull up the MACD indicator. And then from here, you can set the settings 12.26.9 on close or any other price. A lot of people like to use typical, but close is every bit as good. And then the mode is where you select the output. So in this case, it's either the base indicator or the signal line, whichever output of the indicator that you're interested in doing. Now, if you want to compare the two, then you have to load this indicator twice, just like I did here. So I have the MACD loaded 2 times, 2 instances of the same indicator, but one is the base and the other is the signal. So that way, in this case, I can compare them. And here, the relative strength, you can see I have it with a 2 after it. So if you were to edit that, you can see I'm looking at a shift. So I'm moving back in time 2 price bars to look at the previous data. So I shifted the indicator by 2, and I'm comparing that with the current price bar close indicator, or the current close, 1. So I'm just looking for a trend change. One is less than the other, then I know the direction. And of course, you can set any time frame that you like right here. Like I said, you could use the 15, 30, and hourly. You have access to whatever your platform gives you. MT5 has a lot more choices, but here MT4 gives you these specific ones. And you can use as many or as few time frames as you want. I recommend the fewer number of time frames you use, the less computation your computer has to make and the faster your system will respond. The more that you load in, the more symbols that you use, it'll take it. It's just that it'll just slow everything down if you have too many. So you load all the symbols. If you use all of the time frames, your system's probably going to be pretty slow. Custom configurations, absolutely. Let's see, I've got some of my Hawkeye tools here. This is 3 time frames set up using a custom suite of Hawkeye software. Here I'm looking at 3 different signals for the 5-minute, 2 different signals for the 15-minute, and a single signal for the 30-minute, where I'm looking purely at volume and price. So if I'd looked at this setup, then you can see from the layout, I'll open up my data window. And what the data window does is it shows you the output of the indicator that you're interested in looking at. And that's what you need to know, is like if I'm looking at the trend indicator, for example, I want to know where the trend first changes to red. So the trend indicator, you can see on the output at that point right here, the trend has 1, 2, 3 outputs. So the first output is the trend long. The second output is the trend short. And the third output is the trend neutral. So long green, you can see that the first one goes, the second one goes on short, and the white, here it is right here. So you notice that's neutral, that's the third one. So whenever it turns white, then that third one fires off. So that makes the coding pretty simple. So when I go into my configuration and look at my rules, then you can see that I have 3 different rules. If I'm looking at the trend rules, then all I need to see is if that first indicator, the Hawkeye trend, and I'm looking at trend output number 1. That's the long signal. All I want to see is if that long signal is greater than 0. That's all. That's when I know that the trend dot has turned green. The second signal is the red one. So here's the red one over here. See, that's number 2. Number 3 is white. That's if I'm in consolidation or congestion. I don't want to trade in congestion. So I have a condition set up here that says if the setup is white, then I don't want to be trading if that setup is white. Okay, so this is all trend. And then you can see I have one set up for volume. I also have one set up for the momentum, or what I call the heat map. Okay. So looking at these setups, you can clearly see ones that are in congestion, especially longer term and shorter term. You can see the ones that are switching and trending. The Euro US dollar is in a mostly bearish trend, but you do have a 5-minute volume bar right here. See that green volume bar? That has come up, that's showing that there could be some weakness in, but you can see that right now that gave way a long time ago. So looks like that green's going to turn back to red, and we will go right back in line with the existing trend. Okay. Share that. Any of you also Hawkeye users out there, more than glad to share my custom Hawkeye setups and configurations with you. All right. CAD Swiss, look at that, bullish all the way across the board. The pound Swiss, again, here you see a little bit of weakness because this is the volume and heat map. You can see that the heat map has gone a little bit dark on the Euro Swiss, but otherwise it's very bullish. The Euro Canadian, you got some change over here, potential reversal coming about on the New Zealand pound, but very quickly you can just kind of scan through everything and see that and make it work for you. All right, well, that about does it for me today. I just wanted to show you that the tool is very useful regardless of the software or the tools, or the number of tools that you use and how you use them and how you set them up. So give us a try, MT4Professional.com/trial. Start your trial today. 14 days to try it absolutely free. If you cancel anytime before the end of the 14th day, you won't be charged a penny, and you still get the full 14 days to use the software. But if you cancel anytime after that, then the price will automatically go right back to the standard price, and you lose the discount. If you need a hold of us, get a question or anything, it's support@mt4professional.com. Thank you for your time and attention today. You guys have a great rest of your week. Oh, got a last minute question. Sorry about that. Would I be able to get the MyMacD file, please? I thought I did send that to you, but I'll be glad and send it again just to make sure. MyMacD. Can you remind me your email again? Is that you? Okay. You got it. There you go. Who is that handsome man? You're very welcome. All right. Hey, you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. I'll be right back here the same time, same channel in 2 weeks for continuing MT4 Professional live training. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys then. Take care and bye for now.